We are here today with Trevor Croker, who is the CEO of Aristocrat, a company that recently announced its first half results and again tore the cover off the ball. EBITDA was up over 30%. EBITDA margins reached 35.3%. Earnings per share were over 30%. And Trevor, in the 5 years that you have been at the helm at Aristocrat, the stock has gone up on average more than 20% a year. So the question is, how do you build on that?
Well, thanks, Frank, and appreciate those kind words. Well, first of all, we're very proud of what we've achieved, but more importantly, we see a lot more of a runway to go. There's a lot of opportunity left in this business and the industry as a whole. And we do that by staying focused on our customers and staying focused on our players, investing in great talent and teams and making sure that we build a culture that people enjoy. And then having market-leading investment in D&D. I mean, this is a content business. It's about games, and we continue to invest at market-leading levels on content to drive the next wave of growth each year and innovate in the segments in which we participate in, whether it's in software, games, or hardware, apps, or new features. So it's an exciting time. We're very proud of our team and what they've achieved.
You say D&D, that's design and development, I believe, for games.
Yes, that's correct.
And one of the things that is obviously true is that we see in the surveys that we take, the Eilers-Fantini surveys, for example, that Aristocrat games continue to rank at the very top game after game after game in some categories. Before we get into the strategies that you've discussed in your first half call, let's talk a little bit about some of the issues that the industry and the economy as a whole is facing that are unusual. One of them is the war in Ukraine, and that's of special interest to you because you have folks there. Tell us what you're doing in that regard.
Yeah, thanks, Frank. Well, first of all, I'm extremely proud of our team, particularly operating in that part of the world. We have just over 1,000 people in the Ukraine, and we've now got 3/4 of those people into the safer areas, being the western side of Ukraine or outside of Ukraine itself into other surrounding countries. So we spent a lot of time helping those people relocate with their families and pets to those safer regions. We stood up a number of new studios and offices to build a home or a place for them to settle to, given it's such a tumultuous time in their lives. And at the same time, spread more of our work across the broader Pixel United team to be able to deliver on our commitments in game and in new features and live ops. But I'm probably most proud of the fact that we're about 70% productivity, even back to 70% of productivity prior to the conflict. And that's just a testament to the quality of the people that continue to work and while they're going through all these things, and us as a company stand behind them and continue to support them. Obviously, we would love to see the end of this conflict soon, but we're prepared to support our people all the way through it. We've stood up studios where making sure they're accommodated, their kids are back in school, etc., and providing them as much emotional support as we possibly can.
Okay. Are you prepared for, say, any eventuality in terms of the conflict in Ukraine?
I think any eventuality is a big spectrum, but we are prepared. We have contingencies. We have, we've got we've got a proportion of those people, as I said, 1/4 of them that can't leave because of martial law. And that's because of their males and they're over 18. But we are in contact with our people on a daily basis. We know where they are. We know where their safety is. We're running transport and support for them. We're putting, essential goods and services together to support them in their homes and in their offices as well. So we hope we've got the plan to cover it.
Okay, great. Well, good luck to your folks there. One of the issues that companies, again, in every industry are facing today are supply chain disruptions. How is the supply chain for Aristocrat, and how are you navigating through the challenges?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is a challenge for everybody. There's probably two lenses to that. There's really a component lens, and then there's a logistics lens. Both the time and the cost for logistics whether it's getting componentry to our manufacturing facilities or our machines to our customers, and then some of the components. But we took a long position on inventory through COVID. So we went long on inventory, and you probably saw the benefits of that in the first half numbers for us, where we were able to mitigate some of the cost increases through the period because of that long inventory position. We've continued to stay long, and then manage the various supply constraints through good relationships with our suppliers, also making sure that we're talking to our customers and keeping them updated. But it is going to be one of those challenges for every industry for a period of time until some sort of normalcy comes back into supply chains and logistics across the globe.
The other issue that every industry is facing today is inflation and the fear of recession. How is the overall economy affecting you so far, and how do you see the effects in the near to intermediate future?
Yeah, it's a complicated one, Frank, to be honest with you. You know, you see the media and the headlines on it, and then you look at the numbers, and we don't see a correlation between the commentary and the gaming numbers at the moment. We continue to monitor it, obviously, and keep close to that from a coin-in point of view. I think, you know, gaming has been reasonably resilient in the past for these sorts of downturns. So I'm hoping that will still be the case if there is a downturn. But I do feel somewhat optimistic for the summer for North America, for all of our customers, that there is going to be a good trading period through summer, and certainly early signs at the moment from our perspective is we're not seeing any degradation in the coin in from our perspective.
So from gaming ops point of view, you're not seeing any degradation. What about the attitude of your casino customers and their capital allocation plans?
I'm probably talking more about from that perspective. I think the best answer is, I'm looking at their results for the quarter. I mean, they still have generally optimistic for the balance of this year. So, we're seeing good opportunity with capital budgets for investing. And as you said at the start, when you've got good performing games and cabinets, it's a good value proposition for our customers. But, to date, the first quarter of the year has been a strong quarter of the year from a for sale point of view. And I expect that will still continue for a little bit longer.
Turn to digital now. You announced in your results, you talked about a total addressable market of real money gaming online as $70 billion. In addition to that, you have in your Pixel United division, you have other kinds of online play. And right now that comprises, the Pixel altogether comprises 48% of your revenue, which is pretty significant. So you actually, to a great extent, have achieved what a lot of other companies, are just now trying to pursue. Tell us about digital, both in terms of real money gaming and more broadly, and your strategy for it.
Yeah, no, you're right. And, I guess the commitment we've made is we're going to continue to grow Pixel United above category and continue to grow for the full fiscal year. And we see a path to do that. We've got strong market leading positions in social slots where we're number one. We're number one in RPG and strategy games with Raid. And we're number two in the merge segment, which is a product called EverMerge. So we see strong positions in each of those sub-genres. Obviously, launching new games like Mech Arena into the action category, which is another sub-genre, gives us another chance to be competitive. And we've built a lot of capability over the years to do this. If you look at the numbers of the business, about 50% of the Pixel United business is social casino, and the rest is strategy and casual and RPG type games, so non-gaming type product. And, that gives us a different player base. It also gives us a bit different opportunity as far as game design goes and app design. And it's pretty exciting when you look at the teams and the creative talents that they have around these different genres and how they're continuing able to evolve. You look at a game like Vikings now, which is 7 years old, and it's still continuing to perform out there in the marketplace. So there's some long tail, good innovation, diversified across those genres, which is really what drives a lot of the Pixel business. If you then move to the RMG space, we've been listening to our customers, and they've been talking about their intent to have an online and a retail position. And RMG makes that natural step for them. We've been looking at and monitored this for some period of time. We don't have any content in the RMG market at the moment. So our announcement to buy and build to enter RMG is really about standing up our own business, which we've done with the CEO and a management team. And they're building content now, which we'll have into the North American market this calendar year. And then we're looking at how do we buy some assets to accelerate our scale and entry into the market as well. But, that's a natural adjacency for Aristocrat. If you look at how we've grown over the years, is we take share in the core markets we're in, we enter adjacencies to take share and grow, and then we use M&A to accelerate our growth to continue to drive that strong top line and profit growth every year.
You mentioned M&A, and there certainly appear to be companies that are available now. And in terms of public companies, there are companies today that are a lot cheaper than they were a few months ago. As you look out at the M&A, how do you see that market from Aristocrat's perspective?
Well, first of all, we'll stick to the same principles we've always stuck to with M&A, and we've been able to demonstrate a good track record of delivering shareholder returns and strategic growth in the short term and medium term by the way we do our M&A. So we'll stick to our key fundamental principles. You're right, valuations are coming down, and I think it's an interesting time for the industry, but I'm enjoying the position that we have at the moment with a strong balance sheet and capacity that both strategically and opportunistically we have choices, and we'll be very disciplined in the way we do that and continue to look at building long-term shareholder value.
One of the key words in terms of digital today is profitability, because we've seen a lot of stocks that went sky high as everybody got excited and giddy about total addressable markets. But then we get back to the real world where you've got to make a profit in order to pay your bills. You've been profitable. And I noticed in one of your charts on your presentation, your first half presentation, you showed intersecting lines are at about 4.5 months after installation, you turn profitable. Tell us a little bit about that business model and profitability for you.
Yeah, that's a sort of a directional type of so it's not necessarily always 4.5. It depends on the genre, but it's a traditional S curve that you see in any sort of new product context. So you invest up front in D&D. Once you get to soft launch, which is different to our gaming business, you actually get to try the product before you physically switch it on and start spending significant money against it. And then you scale through UA. So we spend about 28% of our revenues from Pixel United on driving new users to the games through user acquisition. So we really focus on keeping very rigorous investment parameters there. So return on advertising spend, making sure we've got clear targets and retention targets for the apps. But at the end of the day, we do focus on being a scaled and profitable digital business, not just being a scaled revenue digital business. And the team are very focused on that. And that gives us the capacity again to take that incremental profit to invest in the next game or the next app to grow the business.
Right. And it's worth noting that Pixel is very profitable.
It's a great digital business.
As we look further out into digital world, one of the buzzwords of 2022, thanks to Mr. Zuckerberg, I guess, is Metaverse, or what some people call Omniverse. Is Aristocrat looking at that technology? And if Metaverse ever comes to the gaming world, how revolutionary or not will it be?
That's a good question. What I would say is we're continuing to look at it. I think how revolutionary is a little bit about how it starts to evolve, but we definitely see aspects of it starting to creep in through the digital world. So our digital business is starting to see more and more of it. So I think what we're going to see and learn there will be applicable in the gaming world longer term. I do think that operators are really quite clever in the way they're thinking about the omni-channel solution now, where it's a land-based casino, a RMG business, and potentially a social casino. And I think that there's some that have made a bold statement and are moving forward, and there's others that are starting to try that. And I think it's an interesting context for them, and we'll fully support them. And like I said, we're continuing to monitor it, blockchain, all these things, to understand what that could be and how that may impact our businesses and how we can provide solutions for our customers and players longer term.
Okay, great. Well, we've covered a lot of ground, Trevor, and I appreciate your time. Anything else you would like folks to understand and appreciate about Aristocrat?
Yeah, thanks, Frank. And I really appreciate the opportunity to have a chat with you. I'd probably just like to reference ESG. It's a pretty topical conversation these days around the world. And I think the work that Aristocrat's been doing now for a number of years in the ESG platform stage. So we're really at that early stage of setting our science-based targets for 2023 based off our 19 emissions. The more important part for me at the moment is the continued journey on responsible gaming, where we're looking to lead and be a solution provider for the industry with responsible gaming. Whether it's in the products we make, whether it's in the education we provide to our management, to our board, to our game designers, or the solutions we provide to our players so that they're informed. And I think responsible gaming is an important part for our whole industry, and that we continue to be seen as part of the solution for regulators, for governments, for the society on what we're trying to achieve. So I think we've made some great movements there. We've put dedicated teams in play, and we'll continue to be at the forefront, including trials like what's happening in New South Wales and Australia at the moment with the digital wallet, which is a collaboration between the government, the regulator, Aristocrat, and the customer to try to provide a solution that can meet the objectives of all. But apart from that, I'm just extremely proud of our team. I get to come here and tell you all the good stories, but there's 7,000 people out there every day that's doing all the hard work. So I appreciate what they do every day, and I couldn't be prouder for those guys and girls as to what they do for us every day.
Well, as a very good overview. I going through my notes here earlier, the one thing what I was going to mention is that the growth that you've achieved, your mark, there was a time when Aristocrat was this small company from down under that had video slots on Indian reservations in the United States. And today you have a market cap that is approximately twice your next two largest competitors, which is an extraordinary achievement. So Trevor, again, thank you, and thank you for your insights.
Thank you, Frank.